There will be a time. Oh, oh.
Hey guys, and welcome on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends, free NHL picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down the Saturday slate. Back after some much needed time off to refresh. I am back and ready to break down today's slate. We'll start the show by taking a look at the polls of the day and taking a look at the polls. I posted them last night here, and just let me zoom in a bit. So poll number one, which underdog is live to win today? And people like Vancouver, 52.6%, like the Canucks tonight, 31.6% say Ottawa, 10.5% say Tampa Bay, and not much love for St. Louis at 5.3%. Probably because Arizona has defeated the last three Stanley Cup winners back to back to back. So that is probably why people are staying away from the Blues. Looking at the second poll here, what will be the highest scoring game of the night? And I gave the four options. Seattle, Ottawa, over 6.5, 36.4%. 27.3% say Buffalo, Carolina. And then 18.2% say both St. Louis and Arizona, and Colorado, Anaheim. We'll get obviously to the breakdowns of each game, but I like overs tonight, and I'm on three of these overs, so that's why I listed them here. And poll number three, which got the most votes and for some reason tends to do the best, is overtime polls. Which game has the best chance of going to overtime? And I listed these four options. Vancouver, Calgary at 41.5%. Boston, Toronto, 31.7%. Tampa Bay, Dallas, 17.1%. And only 9.8% say that St. Louis and Arizona are going to go to overtime today. Jump into the chat. Terry, ... Hello, Nicholas. How is it going? But we'll jump into the first show. We'll jump into the first game here, which is between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Dallas Stars in this one. Tampa Bay plus 130 to plus 140 on the road. Dallas minus 150 to minus 160. Sixes. I do see a 6.5 available in this game. And how I look at this game is it's the early game on a Saturday, which means I am not betting it side or total because for whatever reason, I really struggle with these early games. I am looking at it. I'll mention stats wise. Tampa Bay 1-3-1 in their last five. Not really playing the best overall, even with getting Vasilevsky back. Tampa Bay 2-2-2 in their, Dallas 2-2-2 in their last six. Pretty even there. Looking at past history between these two teams, Tampa Bay 13-3-1 in the last 17 meetings between the teams. So Tampa Bay has definitely had the edge over Dallas. Three of the six games went over 6.5, but three of the other three games went under 4.5. So we either get a high scoring game or a really low scoring game between these two teams. Ultimately, no single plays for me. Players that I'm looking at for player props for parlays. Nikita Kucherov, he is an assist in 8 straight games, 11 of his last 13. Kucherov has over 3.5 shots on goal in 14 of his last 15 games, and over 4.5 shots on goal in 11 of his last 15. Victor Hedman has an assist in 5 of his last 6 games, 10 of his last 14 as well. For Dallas, Joe Pavelski has a point in 8 straight games and 12 of his last 14. And Jason Robertson has an assist in 7 of his last 8 games for the Dallas Stars. So those are the players I would be looking at for parlay pieces, but ultimately nothing single um, in this game. Heading on along to our second game here, which is between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Winnipeg Jets. Chicago plus 240 to plus 251. Winnipeg minus 270 to minus 300. Sixes right across the board here in this game. And Winnipeg enters this game on a 3-game losing streak, and they're minus 300 in this game against the Blackhawks. And when we look at past history between these two teams, Winnipeg 8-1 in the last 9 meetings. All 8 games where they covered the puck line. 6 of the last 9 have gone under 6.5. So we've seen a bit lower scoring games, mostly lower scoring from Chicago. Chicago 2-7 in their last 9 games. They've lost by multiple goals in 5 of 7. Winnipeg 5-3 in their last 8. As I said, they are on a 3-game losing streak, but they have covered the puck line in 8 of their last 10 wins. They played very well. When they're winning by multiple goals. And this Winnipeg team has played the Blackhawks really well. So I like the Winnipeg Jets here, minus 1.5. I think they take care of business. Looking at player props for the Blackhawks, Bedard, the only player you could really look at, has a point in 5 of his last 7, 10 of his last 14. Anthony Beauvillier, who just got traded from Vancouver not too long ago, is on the top line with Bedard. So he is someone you could potentially look at here playing on the top line for the Blackhawks. For the Winnipeg Jets, Cole Perfetti. He has a point in 4 of his last 5, 12 of his last 14 games. He has really, really played well this year. Kyle Connor, point in 7 of his last 11, and Mark Scheifele, a point in 8 of his last 11. So both those players are playing well for the Jets as well. Blackhawks money line? No. Line too wide, way too wide. Yeah, the Jets are big favorites, but they're big favorites for a reason. They dominate this Blackhawks team. Taking Winnipeg minus 1.5 in this one, says Matthew. And great minds, Terry, great minds. Yes, the Jets, they've lost 3 in a row, but this is a good spot for them. And really a really bad spot for the Blackhawks. Obviously having to play today and then having to face Minnesota tomorrow. A tough back-to-back for the Hawks. Those wondering who won the Horvat trade, Horvat is still an Islander, Ratty is still in the NHL, and Beauvillier is a Blackhawk. Yeah, well, it's good that the Islanders have won something, because but we'll move on along to the next game. One of my favorite games of the night. We have the New York Rangers and the Nashville Predators in this one. Rangers minus 135 to minus 142. Nashville plus 110 to plus 129. Sixes right across the board in this one. The Rangers 8-2 in their last 10. They've covered the puck line in 5 of their 5 of those 8 wins. Nashville 6-1 in their last 7. They had their 6-game winning streak end abruptly in their last game, a 6-1 loss to the Minnesota Wild, with fourth line center Connor Dewar getting his first career hat trick. Almost had 4 goals. He had finished with 3 goals and an assist in that game. And Nashville came right down to earth in that game. Looking at previous history between these teams, Rangers 4-2 in the last 6 meetings in Nashville. 4 of the last 6 have gone under 5.5. And previous games for the Rangers, 4 of their last 5 have gone under 6.5. Nashville 3-2-2 to a total of 6. So 3 overs, 2 unders, 2 pushes. So no real edge for me here on the total. But I like the Rangers here on the road. Minus 135 right at my cutoff point for a money line. But I'll take the Rangers here. Yes, this Nashville team won 6 in a row, but I don't want to say they're frauds, but they were playing better than they actually are. And this Rangers team um, is just the best team in the league. In my opinion, right now, they're the best team in the league. No goalies were announced for Tampa Bay Dallas, which we discussed. I forgot to mention goalies in the last game. Soderblom against Hellebuck in the second game there. And in this one, nothing's confirmed, but it does sound like it'll be Quick against Saros. Jonathan Quick, what has happened to him? 6-0-1 with a 1.98 goals against average, 930 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. He has been dominant for the Rangers. Looking at player props for this one, I have a big list here. Panarin has a point in 3 straight games, 18 of the 21 games he's played in this year. Mika Zibanejad has a point in 5 straight games. Eric Gustafsson has an assist in 9 of his last 11. Philip Forsberg for Nashville, over 3.5 shots on goal in 7 of his last 8 games, 10 of his last 13. He's over 4.5 shots on goal in 6 of his last 9. So Forsberg is shooting the puck a lot. He has a point in 8 of his last 10 games, and Gustav Nyquist has a point in 9 of his last 10. Of course, Nyquist's point streak coming to an end last game against Minnesota. I think it's a good spot for him to get a point here against the Rangers. I don't expect much offense from Nashville, but most likely Forsberg, Nyquist, O'Reilly, or the defenseman I'm completely blanking on. Yossi will get a point there. Rangers minus 137. They should be minus 170. Yeah, I agree. They should be bigger favorites here. I got to fade Preds after that loss to your Wild. Yeah, that was just, of course, the former coach coming in. But watch out for the Wild. The last 2 times they fired a coach, when they fired Mike Keogh and when they fired Bruce Boudreau, both times they went on big runs to the playoffs. Originally, I was not sold on John Hines. It's only been 2 games. We'll have to see what happens here in the next few games. But though this Wild team I've seen the last 2 games have looks completely different than the team we saw with Dean Evason. Sometimes players just tune a coach out. They just tune him out. Quick has been so good. I don't get it. Yeah, he has. He has. But we'll move on along to the next game here, which is between the New York Rangers, which is the New York Islanders and the Florida Panthers in this one. Islanders plus 145 to plus 152. Florida minus 169 to minus 175. Sixes right across the board here in this game. Looking at goalies, Ilya Sorokin is likely for the Islanders. Anthony Stolarz confirmed for Florida. Stolarz 3-1-1 with a 1.99 goals against average, 929 save percentage. He's played very well. Sorokin 5-4-5, 3.09 goals against average, 913 save percentage for the Islanders. So goalie advantage. It's tough to say that Florida has the goalie advantage with Stolarz. It's only been 5 games this year, and of course we do know how good Sorokin is. But this Islanders team is just not playing good defense overall. Looking at the Islanders team, though, they are 4-1-1 in their last 6. So are they starting to get things together? They've gone over 6.5 in 6 of their last 8. Florida 4-2-1 in their last 7 games. When it comes to a total of 6, they have 1 over, 6 unders, and 1 push. So Florida's playing under hockey. Islanders are playing over hockey. Looking at past history between the teams, Florida 5-1 in the last 6 meetings. The last 4 meetings have all gone under 6.5. For me, there's no single plays for me here in this one. I don't even lean to either side. I think Florida wins, but at this price, I think you could take Islanders plus 1.5 in a parlay. I think you could take Florida money line in a parlay and cash both. I think this will be a close game. We probably see overtime. Wouldn't shock me here. Player props for Florida. Nobody's hot right now. I can't find anybody that has multiple or has points in multiple games. For the Islanders, though, Matthew Barzal, he has a goal in 3 of his last 4, and Noah Dobson has an assist in 3 of his last 4. So a couple Islanders props, but this game I'm probably going to be staying away from for the most part. Um, with so many games on the slate, this is one that I'll probably stay off. Hopefully not just a new coach bump. Yeah, well, like I said, with the last 2 times the Wild fired a coach, they got the new coach bump, but it lasted a long time. Like it took them right to the playoffs. So of course, firing Evison earlier this year than those other changes were in January, February. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see, but the players have responded to Hines. So um, while for the cup, all their problems are gone. No, no, but Wild to make the playoffs is not anything crazy to say. Of course, Hines doesn't have good playoff history as well, but we'll deal with the playoffs if the Wild get there. But Gustafson looking good, everyone looking good. Well, it's possible. Nick leans over 6 but passes. Panthers at -160 is correct. No play here. Yeah, I think I agree. I don't understand this Hal's team. 9th best power play, but 31st in penalty kill. Yeah, they're completely focusing on the power play and ignoring the penalty kill, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's go, Terry. It's been tricky on plays. Yeah, I needed some time just to refresh and just to not really think about sports. Yesterday, I didn't bet anything past both games. I just needed time to refresh because the NHL has been crazy this year. Barzal, 14 points in 10 games. Yeah. Like I said, he has a goal in 3 of his last 4. So if you're looking at a point, if you wanted to bet something in this game, you could look at a player prop there. Um, Looking at this here. Oh, and of course, that's why I'm missing a game. StreamYard deleted the next game. I don't know why that happens. So bear with me here as we discuss the next game, which is between the Buffalo Sabres and the Carolina Hurricanes. Here in this one. Let me bring it up. Oh, and there you know what I'm doing. No single plays. Buffalo plus 200 to plus 222. Carolina minus 225 to minus 250. 6.5s right across the board between these two teams. Buffalo 3-2-1 in their last 6. A team that burns me. For people watching or people that have watched the channel for a long time, everyone knows my feelings towards the New York Mets. Not so much last year, but the year before. Just no matter what I did, if I bet for them, against them, total, whatever, I would lose. And the Buffalo Sabres are reminding me of the New York Mets. So, not really a team I want to look at except for single plays. They've gone over 6 for a total 6, 3 overs, 1 under, 1 push. Carolina 4-1-1 in their last 6. 3 overs, 2 under, 1 push. This was a 6 yesterday. Carolina 15-2 in the last 17 meetings. They absolutely dominate Buffalo year after year. 7 of the last 11 have gone over 6.5. So we have seen higher scoring games, and we've seen the Carolina Hurricanes take care of business in this one. But as I said, Buffalo, not a team that's treating me too well right now. So no single plays for me in this one. Looking at player props, Casey Middlestat has an assist in 5 of his last 6 games. Rasmus Dahlin has an assist in 6 of his last 7. As I mentioned on previous shows, JJ Paterka, he's got a point in 7 of his last 8 and 13 of his last 16 games. For the Hurricanes, Sebastian Aho, he's got a point in 10 of his last 12 games. And Andrei Svechnikov has an assist in 4 of his last 5 games for the Hurricanes. So those are players I would target for player props. But that's about it for this one. Sabres plus 200. Sabres team total over 2.5. Over 6.5. Carolina can't stop a beach ball at the moment. Kochetkov or Ranta, doesn't matter. All three Canadiens goalies have a sub 900 save percentage. Yeah, I would look at the over. But with how the Canes have dominated the Sabres, that's not something I can ignore. It's something I've made money on over the last few years, but I'll be passing in this one. I won't be passing in our next game, which is between the Seattle Kraken and the Ottawa Senators. Seattle minus 102 to plus 107. Ottawa minus 115 to minus 125. 6.5s right across the board in this one. Seattle 1-2-2 in their last 5, so not really playing overly great. Ottawa 3-3 in their last 6. Ottawa near the bottom of the NHL standings. Of course, they have played less games than every other team, so they need to catch up. And when they play games like yesterday, when you face the Columbus Blue Jackets, those are games you got to win and not lose 4-2 against the Blue Jackets. So, not a good game for Ottawa yesterday. Looking at past history, these teams have faced each other 4 times. Seattle 2-1-1 in those games. 3 of the 4 games went over 6.5. The only game that did not go over 6.5 finished with 6 goals. So we've seen very high scoring games between these two teams in the past. Seattle has gone over 6.5 in 7 of their last 8 games. The only game that didn't go over finished with 6 goals. This Ottawa Senators team have gone over in 5 of 9. Of course, finished with 6 goals yesterday. So Ottawa has been close to the over. Seattle's been getting the over, and when these two teams face each other, it goes over. So for me in this game, give me the over 6.5. I'll be looking for goals on both sides from both teams. Looking at player props, Jared McCann has a point in 4 of his last 5. Tim Stützle for the Senators has a point in 4 of his last 6, 9 of his last 13. Even though I like the over here in this one, it's tough for player props to really find a bunch. So I'll just hope that anybody scores. I don't care who it is. Just give me goals in this one. Release the Kraken and over 6.5. Yeah, Kraken could definitely be an underdog that you could look at. I'm looking at the goals. Parlay plus 185, Canes and Reg and Wings money line. All right. What's up, Terry? What's up, Earl? Good luck to y'all today in the chat. You too, Stop Geo. You too. Let's go 4-3 game. I could see it. Kraken win 4-3. I could see that in this one. Looking at our next game here, which is between the Battle of Pennsylvania, between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Philadelphia plus 145 to plus 162. Pittsburgh minus 167 to minus 175. 6.5s when it comes to the total in this one. Philadelphia 1-3-1 in their last 5 games. They've gone under 5.5 in 4 of their last 5. 2 of their last 3 games have gone to overtime. So we have seen some close games between the Flyers recently. Pittsburgh 3-4-1 in their last 8. They've gone under 6 in 5 of their last 6 games with 1 push. Pittsburgh 7-1 in the last 8 meetings between the teams. They've definitely had a lot of success against Philadelphia in recent years. 3-3-2, so 3 overs, 3 unders, 2 pushes when it comes to the total 6. And of course, this has moved to 6.5. All my stats are for 6 because it was a 6 yesterday. For me here, again, no single plays. I think Pittsburgh wins. I don't want to take Pittsburgh on the puck line, which is plus 145, plus 135. Maybe you could look at in regulation if you wanted a single play, but overall, no single play for me in this one. Samuel Urson for Philadelphia, 4-3-1 with a 2.78 goals against average, 881 save percentage. Goal scorer Tristan Jarry, who got a goal in his last start, of course, an empty netter, 8-1 with a 2.45 goals against average, 919 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Goalie advantage with Pittsburgh, offensive advantage with Pittsburgh. Defense, I don't know exactly. I don't want to make a statement with either side there, but the advantage goes with the Penguins. Looking at player props in this one, the usual suspects. Jake Gensel has a point in 12 of his last 13 games. He has an assist in 10 of his last 13 games. Sidney Crosby has a point in 3 of his last 4 and 18 of the 22 games he's played in so far this year. So those are players I would look at. Nobody for Philadelphia. I can't find anybody for Philadelphia doing anything. And that's why they've gone under 5.5 because Philadelphia has not been scoring. So overall, nothing really for me in this game. Pass. Okay. Nikita Zadorov will make his Canucks debut today versus Calgary. Maybe some props for him. Yeah, we'll get to that game here in a bit. From what I hear is that the Flames players are really gonna be rough towards him tonight. And I guess there is frustration there with him requesting a trade, even though the player said there wasn't. Apparently there is. So we'll see how that goes. But it might be a physical game tonight, especially when Zadorov is on ice. As a Flyers fan, I'm telling you, don't take them on overs. Yeah, I agree. I want it. They're just not scoring goals right now. Jari anytime goal, not in back-to-back nights or not back-to-back game. But hey, watch, he probably will. And I don't even know if you could find that. I don't even think they offer it, but yeah, he probably could. So we got the Battle of Pennsylvania here, and now we'll go to an original 6 battle between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Boston minus 105 to minus 112. Toronto minus 110 to plus 100. Sixes right across the board here in this game. Boston 2-3-1 in their last 6, kind of coming down to earth from how they've been playing overall on the year. 6 of their last 8 games have gone over 6.5, so we've seen some goals on both sides, Boston and their opponents. Toronto 6-1-1 in their last 8 games, playing much better than how they started the season. 5 of their last 8 games have gone over 6.5, and 4 of their last 5 games have gone to overtime. So Toronto is going to overtime a lot. Boston has won the last 4 meetings between the teams. The last 2 have gone under 5.5, and the last 2 have gone to overtime. So while don't have any single plays on this game, it's hard not to sprinkle on the draw. So I'm gonna actually write that down here. Draw. I'm adding a half unit play on the draw here. This just seems like a draw. Toronto going to overtime a lot lately. Boston not playing well. Both teams should get up for this game, but we'll see exactly what happens. When it comes to goaltending, Linus Ullmark for Boston 7-3-1, 2.64 goals, 2.64 goals against average, 917 save percentage. Joseph Wall 8-5-0, 2.74 goals against average, and the exact same 917 save percentage. So both goalies playing pretty similar when it comes to stats. Yeah, this game is a draw for me. The draw is screaming my name, so I will bet it. Looking at player props in this one, Boston, David Pastrnak has a point in 3 of his last 4, 10 of his last 12. He is over 3.5 shots on goal in 3 of his last 4 and 8 of his last 12. Pavel Zacha has a point in 3 of his last 4 and 14 of his last 17 games. Zach has been playing really well. And for Toronto, it's basically Nylander. He has a point in 18 of the 21 games this year. So only 3 games he did not get a point in. I think Nylander can get a point here. And that's basically it for this game. Looking at our next one here, and I'm just noticing that StreamYard deleted that one as well. So thanks a lot, StreamYard. I guess they just don't want me to talk about a couple games here. But our next game is between the Detroit Red Wings and the Montreal Canadiens. Detroit minus 145 to minus 155. Montreal plus 120 to plus 140. 6.5s right across the board here in this one. And let me look it up. I'm assuming he's not playing today. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so he's not playing. Dylan Larkin, unfortunately, him and his wife lost their baby. So that's a really sad thing that happened. And really, I understand why he's not playing. When he returns, and he won't be playing today, when he returns, I'll be huge play on Detroit the game he comes back, because I guarantee you everyone around him will galvanize around him. I'm just going to make sure. I just want to make sure if he's in or not on non-roster list. Yeah, so he's out. He's out. We'll have to see exactly when he comes back. But when he does come back, I'm going to be focusing on him and the Red Wings. Looking at this game here, Detroit has won 4 of their last 5 games. 1-4-1 to a total of 6, so 1 over, 4 under, 1 push. Montreal 3-2 in their last 5. 0 overs, 2 unders, 2 pushes to a total of 6. So both teams trending towards the under 6, and we're getting a 6.5 here. Detroit 8-2-2 in the last 12 meetings. 6 of the last 7 meetings have gone under 5.5. So both teams trending towards the under right now. Both teams go really heavy to the under 5.5 when they face each other. 4 of the last 6 meetings have gone to overtime. So we've seen a lot of low scoring games going to overtime between these two teams. I don't have any single plays here in this one. I really want to take the under 6.5. I do. I really want to take the under 6.5, but I'm not as of this moment. Prayers to Larkin and his wife. Yeah, it's an absolutely horrible thing. Absolutely horrible thing to lose a baby. Le Habs plus 135. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just, especially with that news coming out, I could see Detroit continue to play well for their captain. So Detroit's not a team I want to go against right now. So nothing for me when it comes to single plays in this game. Looking at player props, JT Compher has a point in 9 of his last 11 for Detroit. Lucas Raymond has a point in 7 of his last 8 games for Detroit. So both Compher and Lucas Raymond both playing really well for Detroit. They would be who I would be looking at for player props this game. Nobody from Montreal really stands out. So yeah, I do like lean towards Detroit in this game. Minus 145, not the best price overall. So nothing for me in this game. Singly, head along to our next game here, which is between the St. Louis Blues and Arizona Coyotes. St. Louis plus 105 to plus 108. Arizona minus 120 to minus 125. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. Let me take a look here and see if we have confirmed goaltenders for this game. Of course, our last game, it will be Ville Husso against Jake Allen. Pretty similar numbers for both teams, both players. In this game, nobody's confirmed. Bennington unconfirmed. Connor Ingram unconfirmed. I'm hoping for Vejmelka. I want Vejmelka here because Connor Ingram has played extremely well for the Arizona Coyotes. St. Louis 4-2 in their last 6. 3 overs, 1 under, 1 push to a total of 6. Arizona 3-3 in their last 6 games. Of course, they've won their last 3. 3 of their the last 6 have gone over 6.5. Arizona 3-2-1 in the last 6 meetings. 4 of the last 5 meetings have gone over 7.5. When these two teams play each other, defense is optional, and that's where I'm going here. Like, give me the over 6.5. Give me goals on both sides. Um, Preferably not. It says right now both are unconfirmed, Bennington and Ingram. I would like it on the other side. I'd like both of the other goalies to play, preferably. But regardless, I'm taking the over because these two teams just score a lot when they play each other. Looking at player props, Jake Neighbors for the Blues is red hot. He's a point in 6 of his last 7 games. I believe it's plus 105 for him to get a point. He has a goal in 5 of his last 7. Robert Thomas heating up. He has a point in 4 of his last 5 for the Blues. And Jordan Kyrou has an assist in 5 of his last 6 games. So Blues players are heating up points wise. The hottest player on the Arizona Coyotes right now, shockingly, is Nick Bjugstad, who continues to have a great season for the Coyotes. He's got a point in 4 of his last 5. Clayton Keller has a point in 3 of his last 4 and 8 of his last 11. So those are players I'd be targeting here for this one. But give me goals on both sides. Oh, interesting. Nick is going against me, taking the under 6.5. The line should be a 6. I disagree. Uh, Ingram has been very good, and we all know Bennington for Vezina. Ingram has been very good. He's not confirmed to be playing, and Bennington had a really good start, but he's coming down to earth a bit now. Yeah, me and Nick against each other. Shocking that it didn't happen before this game. But we have 3 more games left, and this is my favorite game of the night. Shockingly, because I hate to say it. But my favorite game of the night is between the Colorado Avalanche and the Anaheim Ducks. Colorado minus 225 to minus 240. Anaheim plus 185 to plus 206. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. Colorado 7-1-1 in their last 9, playing great hockey. 5 of their last 8 games have gone over 6.5. Anaheim Ducks, 8 straight regulation losses. This team is back to the Anaheim Ducks. We all expected them to be. They had their hot run, and I made money on them. When they were hot, I was betting them. I was making money on them. But ice cold now, 8 straight regulation losses. 4 of their last 5 games have gone over 6.5. Colorado 10-1 in the last 11 meetings between these two teams. Absolutely dominated the Ducks. 3 of the last 4 games over 6.5. I'm doubling up here. Give me the Colorado Avalanche minus 1.5 and give me the over 6.5. I like goals on both sides, preferably probably more from Colorado. I see Colorado scoring 5-6 goals in this game. Only need 1 or 2 from the Ducks, which I think is fair. I think they can score some goals as well. Looking at goaltenders, nobody confirmed, but Georgiev 13-5-1, 2.89 goals against average, 890 save percentage, so a below 900 save percentage for Georgiev. Gibson 4-10, 2.80 goals against average, 905 save percentage. Both goalies unconfirmed, but give me goals, and a lot of Colorado goals in this one. Lean Ducks is big home dogs, but don't trust them. Prefer Sabres and Hawks for big dogs today. All 3 of those dogs, Nick, all really get dominated by their opponents. So I cannot agree with any of those. But of course, we've seen big dogs cashing at times. So probably at least one of those do upset. Hopefully the Sabres, because I'm not really on that game. And I'm on the puck line against the Hawks and the Ducks. So hopefully, if one is going to win, it's the Sabres. Looking at player props here, Cale Makar has an assist in 11 of his last 12 games. Cale Makar has over 1.5 points in 7 of his last 9. Mikko Rantanen has an assist in 4 of his last 5 games. Nathan MacKinnon has a point in 11 of his last 12 and an assist in 10 of his last 12. Valery Nichushkin has a point in 9 straight games and 11 of his last 12. So if you have access to Bet365, which is one of the best books to do same game parlays. Makar, Rantanen, McKinnon, and Shushkin, you could put them all just to get a point together, and that'll be plus money. For the Ducks, Frank Petrano has a point in 4 of his last 5 games and 7 of his last 10. So that is the one Ducks player playing really well despite their losing streak. Colorado's big guns have been performing well, and this is a great spot for them here in this game. Isles were dominated by Carolina for a while, and then on Thursday, yeah, there you go. Eventually, teams win, but most of the time they don't. Most of the time they get dominated. Avalanche over 6.5. I like it, Kev. I like it. But we have 2 more games left here, and we'll move on to our next one, which is between, as Nick mentioned earlier, the trade, Nikita Zadorov getting traded from Calgary to Vancouver, and now his first game, that's who he gets to face. Vancouver, plus 102 to plus 108. Calgary, minus 117 to minus 125. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. The polls that we did earlier on in the show, or that I showed from Twitter, Vancouver was the big favorite to win, as of the dog to win today. And I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the Flames win this. I'm on the Flames. Not exactly a team that I rush to the window to bet on. I'll say that. But Vancouver, 3-5 of their last 8 games. They've gone under 6.5 in 4 of their last 6. So lower scoring games recently for the Canucks. They're starting to really come down to earth. Calgary, 6-2-1 in their last 9. So playing much better hockey recently. 4 of their last 7 games have gone to overtime. 5 of their last 8 games have been over 6.5. So we've seen higher scoring games for Calgary, lower scoring games for Vancouver. The Flames 7-1-2 in the last 10 meetings. They just play really well against this Canucks team, their division rival. 3 of the last 5 games have gone to overtime. 6 of the last 8 games have gone over 6.5. I did forget to put the draw right over there, which I can't point to, but I did meant to put the draw under the Flames money line. I am on the draw for half unit play as well in this game. I think we get overtime. I think the Flames win. And yeah, the Flames a tough team when it comes to player props. Nazem Kadri has a point in 3 of his last 4. Blake Coleman has a point in 3 of his last 4. For the Canucks, JT Miller has a point in 12 of his last 13. 18 of the 21 games played this year. Quinn Hughes has a point in 11 of his last 13. And Philip Hronik, who kind of cooled off, is heating back up again. He's got an assist in 4 of his last 5 games. So I do like the Canucks player props better, but I do like the Flames to win, and I do like overtime here in this one. Nick says Canucks and maybe Zadorov anytime goal. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so on both of those. But we'll get to the final game of the night, which is between Washington Capitals and the Vegas Golden Knights here in this one. Bring it up here. Washington plus 155 to plus 167. Vegas minus 184 to minus 192. Sixes, there is a 5.5 available at a couple books as well for this one. Washington 7-2 in their last 9. 6 of their last 8 games have gone under 6.5. Vegas 2-2-3 in their last 7. 4 of their last 7 games have gone to overtime, and they've gone under 5.5 in 5 of their last 6. So both teams trending heavy towards the under. Vegas 5-1 in the last 6 meetings. 4 of the last 6 meetings have gone under 5.5. So I do lean with the under in this one. Second game on the board today, Detroit Montreal. I lean with the under, and this game I lean with the under. But I haven't pulled the trigger yet. A lot of plays today, so just going to keep those with leans. But I do think we get lower scoring games. When it comes to player props in this one, I don't like anything really. The only one prop, Jack Eichel, he has over 3.5 shots on goal in 3 of his last 4. Of course, he's the shots leader for the Vegas Golden Knights, but that's about it in this game. Um, Being that I do lean with the under, I don't really like a lot of player props, and a lot of players are not really standing out for either team. Vegas Golden Knight or Vegas -1, but pass. You lean? Yeah, I could see that. Ovechkin, I think, has 1 point in his last 5 games, like, and it's an assist. So, like, Capitals are struggling. Vegas hasn't been playing that well, so this game is just pretty easy pass for me. But that's today's show. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, come subscribe to the YouTube channel. Come join us in the live chat. It would be awesome to have you. Um, Planning on doing a show tomorrow and may very well have a guest on with me. Normally, I don't do Sunday shows, but I am planning on doing one tomorrow, mostly so I can discuss the Blackhawks Wild game because hopefully, when I check the odds on that game, it's not going to be too crazy, but I have some plays I really like in that one. So there you go. Both of these teams have burned me in recent weeks. You're talking about Washington and Vegas. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Terry. No problem, Matthew. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you most likely tomorrow. If not, if something comes up, then we'll see you on Monday. Another episode, Getting Well with Terry and Friends, free NHL picks. Best of luck, everyone.